famous battles throughout history. Batman versus the Joker. Nixon versus the United States. Bootlegs versus real. Okay, that's the one we're talking about today. And to continue our conversation about bootlegs, we present part 3 of a groundbreaking YouTube series brought to you here on the Spectre Creative channel. But instead of me talking to you, I've brought in absolute amazing toy lawyer Greg Pan, who, aside from being a lawyer and a toy lawyer and working with major companies like Marvel and DC and, lots of those big ones, Disney, he's also a toy collector, which gives him a huge insight into the realm of bootlegs and toys. And so far, he's recorded 2 videos with us discussing how large companies deal with people who rip them off and make bootleg toys. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the consumer and what it's like, the risks that they take when buying a bootleg toy. Now, of course, I want to plug Brand Licensing Law, his company. If you do need help with legal brand and bootleg issues, he's always available. But at the moment, I'm going to hand the mic back over to Greg, who's going to explain for one last time a little bit about bootlegging and the toy industry. Here's Greg Pan.
Like another example is, Kickstarter. Kickstarter, sometimes I've seen companies try to sell an unauthorized item on there, and it gets big enough, it starts to get funded, and it starts showing up on people's social media feeds or getting shared around. Eventually, the IP owner is going to see it, and they're going to make a decision: is this something I want to take care of or not? So, um, the reality is they can't go after everything, but they do want to kind of set the fear or the belief in people that they will go after things that get to a certain point, that get large enough that they have to get taken down. So um, if starts to become visible, then yes, that increases the risk that for that manufacturer, for that counterfeiter, that's going to get it's gonna get the attention of the IP owner, and they're gonna make a decision on whether they're gonna go after you or not. So yes, logically, the bigger fish tend to be the ones people go after, or ones that are going after more popular properties they're trying to explicitly protect. But sometimes there's a human element to this. So um, there may like an example of a human element might be that there might be an executive at a company, and they may have a friend or a significant other who shops on websites and finds stuff and shares it with them. They think they might be helping out, but this person, the executive, feels like they need to show that they function and and are able to get these things taken down at their whim. So they'll raise it to their anti-piracy department, and then they become all hands on deck. And because it's coming from a senior management person, and they may be spending resources going after these things, even though it might not necessarily be a priority from a financial or from a priority standpoint. From if it's like the best brand to go after or the best product to go after, or because it's necessarily hurting the business. So sometimes there's definitely a human element that determines what things go after, what things they put their resources against. Um, I've covered this a little bit, but what are the risks for buying counterfeit items? If some of you have ever bought stuff on kind of the less questionable marketplaces, here's a big one: you might never get it. Um, you're not necessarily dealing with people who follow laws and regulations are easy to find if they do anyone harm. So they might take your money and run, and there's no way for you to go find them and do anything about it. So there are a lot of scams in this. The items could get seized at customs because the customs officer who sees that shipment recognizes that it's a counterfeit and they seize it. So you might not get it because it never gets to you. I mentioned they cut a lot of corners, so safety is a significant issue. I've seen a lot of product recalls and um, items that get flagged by various product safety commissions, and oftentimes they're counterfeit toys. they can have a high level lead or phthalates. I would never, if you have kids or pets in the home who have a tendency to put things in their mouth or anything like that, I would not risk bringing those counterfeit items into my home. I know the kind of I know the types of things they skip, so I wouldn't keep them in the house with kids at all. They typically are not using the tested materials or paints that are intended to be made for toys. They're going for, again, the cheapest option. And then finally, this is kind of why they get the reputation, but you're not going to get the best quality. There's a reason why the price of certain toys are at that price. It's because it takes, when you're talking about a lot of higher end action figures, it takes a lot to get the articulation just right, to get the paintwork just right, to meet a lot of the collector standards. Um, I would say almost all the bootleg stuff out there that I've seen, the joints are really bad, the paint's wonky, the sculpt is not great. If I'm putting it next to my real stuff, it's not quite there. So you get what you pay for in that case. I've sometimes seen from people saying, well, I know that it's not licensed, but I'm giving them free publicity. Um, no, I've never met a licensing company or worked with one that has ever said, "Oh, we're thankful that this counterfeit item is out there. It's helping us get publicity." No, that's never ever what a brand owner has thought. And usually everything is so small scale or poor quality that it doesn't really meet their standards. So no, no one in the company is thanking you for making money on. No one's ever thanking a counterfeiter for making extra money without a license or approval. Another kind of a question or comment more I get is, well, the company's not making the product that I want or at the price point that I want or I can afford. Um, why can't I get it from someone else who does meet my expectations? And there's a deeper conversation on what are the rights of an IP holder, what rights should they have, and all that. But as far as the standard today is, if you're the owner of the intellectual property, you get to call the shots on how it gets used. There are brand owners out there who have created iconic works that just don't do any licensing at all, and you'll never see toys out of them. Period. And uh, under laws of every country out there, that's their right. You're not going to find Calvin and Hobbes products out there because the owner has decided I don't want my product to get merchandised, and that's their decision to make. Does that mean you can counterfeit it? Again, the law is going to be on their side that they can decide if how they want to enforce things if people make copies of the product or if they if there's a lot of as Scott has mentioned in many of his videos, there's a lot of reasons why a product didn't turn out as expected, but still people worked on it, and that's what they ended up. It doesn't mean that someone can they're not going to think kindly or allow someone else to make a better product, but without getting the proper approvals or royalty or making sure it's properly tested or meets their overall criteria out there. So right now it's people, if you own the brand, that are going to determine how it gets made, how much it gets made, how much it's going to sell for, how much work and effort and quality they're going to put into it. Kind of the other comment I see a lot is, well, they're such a big company. What's a couple bucks to them? Why are they always picking on the little guys? And that's easy to see companies as these big faceless monoliths. That's true to an extent, but they're made up of tons of small groups and departments. I think anyone who is listening who works at a large corporation, it's made up of smaller groups of people who have their own budgets to work with, um, their own numbers that they've hit that quarter. So, yes, there may be a giant mega corporation, but if you break that down division, their toys are being made by a licensing division or a toy group, and they're trying to do the best they can They're trying to make the best toys they can with the budget they have, or trying to find the best partners they can work with to make the best products out there to represent their brand. If their numbers don't get hit, that means their budget gets slashed, or the licensee has to, you know, cut their budget or work with, with they have to cut corners. They have to do a lower price or lower quality product or a higher price product. So the competition out there is real, and they do care about that. They do want to, if someone's selling a competing product and they're able to undercut because they're not paying a license fee or meet certain standards or approvals, that can hurt the licensee, can hurt the brand holder, and they have less room to make the product that they want to make too. So it does cut them, and I've seen that happen where counterfeits prevented a licensed product from being made. So I'm not going to tell anyone how you should spend their money or what choices they should make in life. I'm just giving people the background. What do IP holders actually think? How do they feel? It's definitely they don't. If there's their livelihood or something, a project where they're spending a lot of time and effort to make something, to put it out there, they tend to not feel strongly or kindly about counterfeiters, bootlegs, people working on items that without a license or without approval from the brand holders. No one in these companies are truly ambivalent or approving of unauthorized products out there. So I hope some of those insights and experiences have helped you learn something a little bit today. So thanks for listening, and thank you, Scott, for giving me an opportunity to speak a little bit about this topic.
Well, and likewise, I want to thank you, Greg, because I love having experts on this channel so we can bring the most accurate information to subscribers and viewers. So thank you so much for taking your time to record 3 of these. If anyone has any questions for me or for Greg, leave them in the comments below. I always comment back, and if I don't have the answer, I'll hunt Greg down and see if I can get more accurate information. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell and all that stuff because it tells YouTube to share it with more people. Thanks for watching this series, and I'll see you on the next video.